I just
Very
want to
true.
make a point about the previous
Yes.
chapter where Paul appeals to his Roman citizenship in verses 35 and
Yes.
following. Another appeal
Yes.
to fellow Christians, especially like minded Christians out there,
Hmm.
that is, non Trinitarians, so called
Yes.
Unitarians. Note here that Paul and friends, I'm guessing, used their Roman
Yes.
citizenship to their favor
Yes, indeed.
as a get out of jail card, if you
Yes.
will. But that does not mean Paul and his Christian Roman citizen friends
Hmm.
ran and joined the Roman military.
Of course
That
not.
does not mean, I think, Paul and his Roman Christian citizen friends ran to join a political Roman party, if
Right.
there was one.
Right.
My point here is that we have to be careful not to, I would say, misuse citizenship we have, whatever country that is. And I think it's a misuse of it by Christians when we think that that gives us a free license or a free choice to join the political
Hmm.
or the military industrial complex of any
Yes.
country.
Yes.
Because I'm always reminded, Anthony, of Psalm 96. The gods of the nations are idols. In the Greek translation in Psalm 95, verse 5, you will see that idols is translated as demons. The governments of the world are currently in the hands of Satan. I think Satan was true in saying to Jesus, Anthony, in the desert during the temptation, when he showed him the governments of the world. I think to some extent, Satan was right to say to Jesus,
Yes.
look at all this. This is mine, and I can give it to you if you worship me. I think
Yep.
Satan at that point was right because then Jesus and Paul and other apostles verified the fact that the God of this age is that Satan. It's very astute. It's very smart of Paul to do what he does,
Yes.
for Jesus to say to the people during his ministry. Jesus is asked about paying taxes. Hey, Jesus, you sound like you're against the government or
Yes.
something. What's going
Yes.
on? So they try and trap him. And Jesus very astutely, smartly grabs a Roman coin
Yep.
and asks whose image, whose icon
Yes.
is on this coin.
Yep.
And it says, give to Caesar what is his and give to God what is
Yes.
God's. We
That's true.
are in a sort of that no man's land, if you will. Back
Hmm.
in World War II, there was a spot in the battle where they used to call no man's land. It was in between
Yes.
the two opposing armies. So
Yes.
Christians are sort of, we have our feet at the moment, Anthony, if it's fair to
Two
say,
camps. Yes.
between kingdoms,
Yes.
between the kingdoms of the world and the other foot
Mm.
in the coming kingdom of God. So
Yes.
it's a very tricky affair,
It is.
and we have to obviously speak the truth in love and be patient with one another. But I think you're right when you say the simple fact is that you cannot love anyone if you're willing to kill anyone
Apparently.
or
Apparently.
country
Yeah.
or home or for any other reason.
Well, yes, and I'm glad you raised that point because somebody pointed out to me the other day that I had said that I had been for national service way back in the 1950s. I was a sub-lieutenant with an S secretarial branch because my eyesight wasn't good enough. I think I added there, and I would add it now, I resigned that commission because I realized after much study, and this is my personal opinion, I think you share it too, that Jesus did say, if my servants were of this world, if my kingdom belonged to this wicked system, my servants would fight. But since my kingdom is not of this world, my servants don't fight. So I would prefer resigning a commission if you're in a profession which requires killing, because it's very difficult to kill your enemy and say, well, I really loved him. That's the bottom line for me. So I'm glad you raised that point, and it gives me a chance to correct what I didn't say correctly before, that I later resigned that commission in the Royal Navy. So I'm a green card person. I could use that as an argument point. I'm a green card. I don't belong to any of the present systems. I'm a green card non-citizen.
Yeah, so please visit our other website here, Christ Enemy Love. There is a timeline I created here for you to see that this is one of the very interesting doctrines that the early church and mosque majority understood and followed, and they paid for it heavily. Millions and millions, it is estimated, of followers of Jesus as the Messiah died horrible ways to abstain from violence, all forms of violence, an absolute pacifist position, if you will. Families, grandmothers, children, parents, cousins, they died horrible deaths. So check out this website, the timeline here, please, and you will see all the recorded history from the earliest Christians who on this topic, we obviously don't agree on everything, but on this one, they were amazingly, it is our belief, right. Please check that out. The many articles on this issue. I feel like most Christians do not read up on this position, and they're ignorant, really, to be blunt. But I think you have to educate yourself with Christian history